Welcome back to Amanda's Favorites. If you're new here, I do planner reviews. I also share my own personal planning. This video is going to be a review of the Take a Note planner. It is a planner that I just purchased on my own, and it's going to be a very relaxed personal review because I'm actually testing out using it right now as my daily planner. I guess you can call it in between a weekly and a daily because there's 2 days per page, so a 2 a day. We're going to get all into that. This is a Taiwanese planner. It's one that I have looked at for like at least 2 years now, maybe 3, and seen people using it and just thought I was so intrigued by it that it's one I just wanted to be able to do a review on and use on my own. So we're going to jump right in. This is going to be a mainly unedited video, just a much more relaxed one. I'm trying to do a couple of those to jump back in after my vacation at Molly's so I can have less editing and kind of get back into the groove and get videos up for you guys and just share things that I'm excited to share. If you're new here, you can also check out my Patreon if you'd like to support me there. I give an extra personal monthly video there, although for January I gave 2 personal monthly videos. It was Molly and I at her house talking about, one was about her goals and how she does them, and then one was sharing the planner that she's starting out 2023 in. So those 2 personal monthly videos are already up for January, and then every other month we do a Zoom call and I record it for those who can't attend, and we also have like a topic that we discuss that month so everyone gets to get in on the discussion. I love my little Zoom call group there. So if you'd like to check out supporting me over on Patreon and having those perks, that link is always down in the description. You can start up anytime you want and only be charged for 1 month at a time. You can view all my previous month's videos. You can quit at any time. So there's no commitment at all. All right, let's jump into this Take a Note review. It comes in this little box. Like I said, it's a Taiwanese planner. I ordered straight from the Take a Note company. They seem to sell out pretty quickly. I believe I ordered somewhere around the end of September or the beginning of September. I think it was sometime in September when they come out. If you just Google Take a Note, you'll find their website, but I will link it down in the description. I don't know why I said Google it. I always link things. I will link it down in the description. Of course, there's no affiliation with them whatsoever. This planner is actually pretty cheap. It's like 700 Taiwanese dollars, which I wrote down in here, I think comes to about $23 US. But then I did have to pay shipping from there. And I cannot remember because I didn't write this down. I think my shipping was around $17, almost the cost of the planner, but still not super expensive for a yearly planner. We'll go into it. There are a couple companies I know, like London Gifties usually gets some of these to sell too. So like if you're in the UK, that could give you cheaper shipping. So if you kind of search for these small stationery stores that might order some and carry them for you, I don't know of one personally in the US. If you do, please leave it down in the comments below so that we can all know for this year, because it is a planner that sells out everywhere and you kind of have to be right on it to order it at the right time. So it just comes in this box. It comes with a little tissue paper. It comes with a thank you card. It comes with a 2023 bookmark with 2023 year at a glance on the back. So that might be something that is useful. We're in it, like the ribbon helps pull the planner out. So if you want to use this as your keepsake box, it would definitely work too. Let's jump into the planner itself then. I just love the simplicity of it. It is small. It's lightweight. You don't need a cover for it, but I think most people would probably put a cover on it. It is a very thick cardstock, just gray coloring, rose gold foiling on there with the year. And you have this interesting exposed spine that lays absolutely completely flat. I don't know the name of that type of spine. If anybody knows, let me know. Because I always think the spine is so interesting when I see it. I don't see it much, but it lays completely flat no matter where you are in the book. This is a Hobonichi A5 cover that I've had for years. I do have a whole Hobonichi playlist, and I'll do a little comparison at the end with the Hobonichi cousin, but I have a whole playlist of Hobonichi if you are interested in that. And so this cover was from their store years ago. They have different covers every year in the Hobonichi 1101 store, I believe what it is on Google. I will link that down in the description. I do love this cover. It's one of my favorites. I'm always attracted to forest green a mustard yellow, and I just think it's beautiful. I love the huge pen holders that will hold like 2 mile liners and also 2 pens, like just, you know, it holds a lot if you want cards in it and whatnot. But whenever I usually use it, I just stick the back cover in it. And that is because when you're near the front of the book, if you stick the front cover in, you have all these bumps to write over because your paper, you know, you won't have anything hard in between the bumps and your paper. Now, once you're further in the book, if you want to stick the front cover in, I don't think you would feel the bumps. So I personally don't need these pockets and wish they weren't there. But that's just, this is all reviewed in a Hobonichi video. So it also comes with these 2 ribbon bookmarkers in here, which I have not really been utilizing with this because I just leave this open on my desk. But sometimes I carry it to my bedroom or around the house, and I mainly just put it in the cover because I get to have just my pens and highlighters like right there with it. So we're going to just start at the front and walk through this baby, talk about why I was so intrigued by it, and I just wanted to get it and try it. And I did mention it on Instagram a couple of times when I got it, but I know many of you might not be on Instagram, or you might have missed it because even my good friend Tara was like, what? When did you mention that? She could not remember me sharing this, and I've shared it several times since I got it. And then we're going to talk all about the paper. I'm going to show you a pen test. So here is the take a note, just, you know, nameplate page. Doesn't really have a space for a name, but you could definitely put your name there. You have the end of 2022, you have the entire 2023, and then you have 2024. All these monthly calendars are their typical Monday start. For any Japanese, Taiwanese planners, they're always Monday start. And then you have 2024, and weekends are in the dark brown. You have this really cool habit tracker. Now, you guys know me, I love to use my yearly habit tracker, and I absolutely cannot be flipping to a habit tracker in my planner. If I wanted to use this, I would have to tear it out, which would also take this sheet on the back, which I'm not using, so it would be fine. But I use, you know, my yearly habit trackers printed out from EliseJoy.com. I absolutely love those and have used them for several years now because I just love to see my whole year at a glance for habits that are really important to me. And I've talked all about that in my goal planning video here for 2022, and I'm about to film my goal planning video for 2023, but I will link my 2022 goals video. I don't really call mine goals. I talk more about that in the video, but I did my goals in my golden coil for 2022, and I will link that down below. And soon after this video in January, I will be releasing my 2023, how I'm going to do my goals, or I really like to call them, last year I called them possibilities, but I like the word intentions better. My goals really are more intentions or habits and then projects for me. Those are my goals. And I kind of just have a main focus of the year too. And I'll talk all about that in that video. I do like the layout of this yearly habit tracker. It just doesn't fit into what I'm using. And I have to have my habit trackers with like the habit. Most of mine I fill out in the morning with my scripture study. And so all those get filled out from the day before. I talk all about that in my goals video. If it's in my planner, I just will never remember to come here and mark this. But I like this layout. And if you got this planner and you needed to use it for more than 2 habits a month, you could just make a copy of this. Then you have this great layout, which is also in Hobonichi, where you get the entire year in a 2-page spread. You could do 1 line a day. You could do 1 gratitude a day. You could track your mood a day or a workout. Or you could track several habits for every day. So if 2 habits a month are not enough for you, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It looks like 11 if I counted that right, but the lines are very light. So that is also something to know about this planner. The lines are super light. So for someone like me who has to wear reading glasses, I usually wear progressive lenses now so that I don't have to take them on and off all the time, because I really cannot see small things anymore. And that literally just started like a year ago. It's kind of crazy how when we start aging, it happens just one day. If you look, it's a very light grid. It's a small grid. I wrote down the grid size. It is a 3.5 millimeter grid. We'll compare that to Hobonichi, but just really quick, if you want to know, the Hobonichi cousin is a 3.7 millimeter grid. So this is even a tiny bit smaller. I knew that going in, and I knew I wouldn't be able to write on the grid because I don't write teeny tiny. But this would be good to check off even if you wanted to go every other line for habits for a month. If you came in here and checked off, I think that would be be such a good glance at all your habits too. My yearly trackers are just easier for me, but I do think these are really useful for anything you want to put on here or track. And then you go into your monthly spreads, and they give you the month of December here at the end of 2022, even though it's a 2023 planner. And I think that's nice too if you kind of want to move in early. On your calendar, we'll look at a blank one and then we'll come back to the pen test, is a Monday start. Like I noted, you have a really big section for notes for the month with light lines dividing it off for every week. So it could be a weekly to-do list or a weekly goal, or it can just go into a long to-do list or into different categories for the month. So I think they've done that really well. But because of that huge space plus the margin at the top, your boxes are a little bit smaller than they could be. And then if you look, Saturday and Sunday are in brown, where the rest is light gray. And so they kind of stand out. And Sunday's bolded. Saturday is not, which is interesting to me. Then you have going in here, I'm not sure actually, I did not look this up before. It looks like this is a count. I'm not sure what this is. I might look it up before the video goes up. I can't even see it without my glasses on right now. It says P072, I believe, and then it goes P076. Maybe somebody can tell me what that is if I can't find it online when I'm putting this video up. So that is interesting because it doesn't look like the weekly countdown. It's like 40, 44, 48, 52, 56. I know someone's going to know what that is, and you guys can tell me. So your monthly layouts go all in a row. Your month is in brown. The number, it says February 2023, really small. Same layout everywhere. So room to write a scripture or a gratitude, or room to write anything you need at the top of the month. And you can kind of see how one line will show through there. And you definitely have that feel of the bumps on the last page. So this paper definitely does have that. Let's talk about the pen test. Here are all my pens on here and mild liners. And if you look at this paper, I found it listed not on their website. They didn't list it on their website. I found it just someone else listing it in an article that this paper was 68 GSM. Now on their website, they do list it as 3.5 millimeters. So I know that's correct. And it is the Tomie. I know I'm saying that wrong. I looked up how to say it before this video and then I've already forgotten. The Tomie River paper. It is that same paper that's in Hobonichi, but this is thicker because the Hobonichi is 52 GSM. And if you compare the feel of the paper, this is much more like one that will crinkle. Not quite as crinkly as a Bible paper, but I call it closer to that. But there's no bleed through. I mean, Hobonichi paper really is magic because it's lightweight. There is show through, but there's no bleed through. You can use all kinds of art mediums, and that's why people love it. But I go more extensively into the Hobonichi paper in my Hobonichi video on that playlist. But I just wanted to compare to let you know that it is, I'm going to try to find a page I wrote on. The Hobonichi paper, see how it crinkles up as you write on it? Because as you push on it, even if you're using a pencil board in here, which I have, it gets very crinkly. See what I'm saying? And you can definitely see all the show through, as you can see. And I will show you the show through of using this one too. But this paper is thicker, 68 GSM versus 52. And I definitely prefer this paper myself. So it's thicker. You still have show through, but you do not have bleed through. So you have all the show through and ghosting, as you can see there. I mean, a full page written on, you definitely have to be okay with this type of paper for show through and ghosting. So you go through all your months of the year. They even give you into January 2024, February 2024, and March 2024, which is great for future planning. Now, if you'll look at this page, is all written on. You can see how it's kind of crinkled up a little bit with my writing and just all the show through on there. So that is a full page written on and being crossed out with mild liners. So yes, it's a lot of writing. It's a lot of highlighting, but that's the way it's going to look if you do that. I wanted to test this out as my weekly list. So I went to Molly's in here, and that's why some of these weeks look sparse. And I kind of tested it out before I left, redating it because I was just too excited to give it a try. And then I got home and I was like, well, let me really test it out for my weekly list. I just put in some Planner Perfect washi tape for fun because also on this type of paper, washi tape just always feels good. and looks good to me. I started seeing how this would work with my weekly list. Let's look at the basic layout, and then I'll tell you kind of how I've been using it. So it's kind of morphed into what would my system be. Now, you guys know for the last couple years, I've really just been using a daily notebook for my daily list. I meant to say daily list every time I was saying week there. So this is taking over my daily list notebook, in which I usually use a Becky Higgins notebook or a Target notebook, but sometimes I use a LEUCHTTURM. I have all kinds of favorite daily list notebooks. And so it's kind of like my daily bullet journal. I don't really follow bullet journal rules, but I will list my video that is my favorite daily list notebooks. It's just a recent one I did last year. And I will also list my top 5 favorite notebooks video. So both of those will be listed down in the description if you want to check those out. I've already drawn on here going into February. You can see you have to let it dry well before you turn the page or you do get marks. I'm just, dating out as a planner would do. Because to me, I absolutely cannot use this planner without any color. The days are written really small for me, really hard to see when I'm not wearing my glasses. Lack of anything fun, like a great font or color. I would love the days to be written big here so I can actually read them. The numbers are big enough for me. And of course, I would love a different color a month. That's just me. You're never going to get that in a Taiwanese planner. I do think the layout's very functional. I don't think I would purchase this again. If I wanted to do this layout, I think I would just draw it out in a LEUCHTTURM. Now LEUCHTTURM has their really good 120 GSM paper. And I do have that compared to my daily list notebook. And I have a whole LEUCHTTURM playlist. While I prefer the normal, thinner LEUCHTTURM paper for journaling, I think if I was drawing out like a week like this, I think I would prefer the thicker 120 GSM paper. So that's what I would probably do because I don't use the timeline. They have a whole 24-hour timeline here. It doesn't end at 3 and starts at 6 a.m., but it has blank spots. So you could definitely fill that in. It could definitely be a 24-hour timeline. It's a tiny grid, so I don't use the grid, so that doesn't really work for me. And I have to add a lot in here every week to make it look nice for me. Not only do I kind of want to highlight, a monthly color and make the days of the week stand out, I like to add the washi, and I haven't done it here. I love to make the colors change over, just like ERIN CONDREN with the week. I also like to map out. They give you this week here, which would be great for meal planning, workouts. I just put big appointments or big things there to me. You could also, especially since doesn't have heavy lines, you could ignore those dates and you could just make a weekly list here. I've thought about trying that too, so I might try that out sometime. But I do like to just look at my week laid out in appointments really here. There's a line in the middle, so I could just do appointments and a weekly list on that side. I might try that sometime. It is very convenient to already have it drawn out for you, but when I could be doing it with thicker paper, and also I have to add so much to here. And I don't know that I'm going to stay in it the whole year. I'm probably going to end up back in a blank notebook for a lot of the year because that is just what I prefer for my daily list. But I started drawing in how I generally use my daily list in a blank notebook right now. In the beginning, I was kind of haphazard, but I was like, no, I was getting all over and like, I can't use this. My daily lists were so I was like, I need to use it how I use my notebooks. I left a small space at the top for just if I have any appointments. If I don't have appointments that day, I'm leaving it blank. And that tells me at a quick glance, we don't have to be anywhere that day or no service is coming to our house or anything timed. Then my one box I call that my one like do or die, or, if everything bad happens, that one thing, what one thing absolutely must get done that day. Because of course, I don't know if you're a stay-at-home mom that works from home that also homeschools, you can get dragged all over all day if you don't have a really specific priorities going on. And so that's where this helps me because I can have my one focus because I don't list homeschool. I don't list laundry. I don't list food prep. I list if I'm going to the grocery store that day, but all those just home things, where you're cleaning in the kitchen, cooking in the kitchen, doing laundry, cleaning a bathroom, cleaning out a closet, all those life maintenance things, I get pulled in all those directions every day and I don't list those out. Whether that's smart or not, I don't know. I might do better to actually list those and have a real focus for the day. But sometimes I don't know, that I'm doing food prep that day, but we kind of ran out of like our food prep. And so I'm just going to do it that day. or I don't have a specific laundry day because there's only 3 of us left in the house. I just do it as it fills up. So I don't know that I'm going to do laundry that day, but if I go and I'm like, oh, it's pretty full, or my son's like, I only have 1 pair of pants left, then I'm like, okay, I need to do laundry today. If I do, I might just throw that in down here on my random going to-do list. I'm not sure where I was going with that. Where I'm going with that is I can be pulled away into all those other things and maybe never get my like one work focus for the day done. So this is my one focus, whether it's something really important like I need to call the insurance company that day, or it's something to do with work like filming a video, whatever I think is my very top priority, that if absolutely nothing else on my list gets done, that has to get done. I list that number 1 at the top without a number as kind of just a focus. And then I have my 1, 2, 3. I have a whole old video about my 1, 2, 3. I've like always lived by this system for my daily list. And whenever I stray from it, I'm always all over the place. I can make my whole list down here or wherever in my daily notebook, but I only pull 3 things from it to start. And then once, if I get my focus in those 3 things done, I can list another 1, 2, 3. That's what I do when these are marked out. But if I don't ever get that done, then, you know, the rest of the list just gets looked at and like reprioritize and refocus for this day. But if I get those 3 done, I can list another 1, 2, 3. And if I get those done, I can list another 1, 2, 3. Let me tell you, that never happens because the 1, 2, 3s are not quick things. I'm not listing emptying the dishwasher, right? And doing my scripture study. I'm not listing those things. So these are actual bigger things to get done. Now in my daily notebook at the top of my page, because a daily notebook is a whole page, I usually have listed these: scripture, walk, yoga, and gym for gym days. I don't go to the gym to do weights every day. So you might have seen that listed in my notebooks before, and then I can just check it off. Yes, I have my yearly habit trackers for those things, but I like to just see for the day, like, how am I doing? What have I done there? But I decided in this notebook, because the smaller space per day, I'm going to do that at the bottom. You'll see in some of these pages, I had listed it at the top, and it was messing up if I had any appointments. I wasn't really sure where to list it. So I'm kind of figuring out this notebook. Just this week, I was like, I absolutely have to highlight my 1 task of the day and then get back to my 1, 2, 3s. So that's what this week is going to look like. And then I was like, well, I could give myself like a box instead of just a 1 highlighter line. And then that took 3 highlighter lines. And I'm like, well, drawing a box would just be easier and still highlight it. So I like that. Blue is my January color, but I'm bringing in a bright, fun pink and kind of like getting ready for February too. So it does take some bit of a setup, but we'll see how long I stay in this. If I end up, my problem with something like this is I end up I can't stop myself from going to fill in days ahead of time. And this is not my weekly planner, so I don't want to do that. I need to wait till the night before to fill in the next day, or too many things have changed. And then that next day is already too jumbled. And that's when I need a whole new page in my daily notebook. And this is not just a daily notebook, so I can't get a whole new page. I've already pulled out my daily notebook at least 1 or 2 days since I started using this. And I've only been back not even a week now from Molly's. So like I keep saying, we'll see how long I stay in this for my daily notebook. Like I said, this is a much more personal video. This is not just a planner review. This is about how I'm using this. Obviously, it's a very light grid. It's 3.5 millimeter. It's tiny, as you can see. And I never am staying right on the grid. You have when the month changes, they do that. You have your week of the month circled. I could honestly do without that up there. I don't need to see that, but I know a lot of people would find that helpful. Like I already said, I love how they did this because it's very light. You could use it for the weekly list, or you can use it day by day. I think it's a really good layout. It's a layout you could draw out in any A5 notebook. Any, LEUCHTTURM, Scribbles That Matter, Archer and Olive. All of those are in my notebooks video, but you could draw this out in any of those. You could even try it out in the daily pages of your Hobonichi, because anything that's A5, you could just draw it out to try it out. Of course, these numbers of the day would mess you up. And there's a big space down there being used. Definitely, it's something you could try out in any A5 notebook, whether it's coiled or bound. Although I think I really prefer this layout in a bound. I do love how it lays flat. I do love how lightweight it is. I am finding out my favorite pen to write on in here. I've used friction pen a little bit, but I don't love the way it's writing on here. I do love that I can erase friction, but that's not as important to me in my daily planner as my weekly. Right now, I'm liking how the Pentel Energel is writing. This is an 07 though. I feel like it's a bit big for it, so I probably will go to an 05. And this is an 05 Sarasa, Zebra Sarasa, which I also like in here. And I just love all those little birdies. I can't remember where I got this specific one with birdies. I've had it for quite a while. And then I love my 2 mild liners because I can have like my colors. This week I was doing appointments in yellow. My one focus for the day is in pink, and I think I will keep that like the same for the whole month. So this is very much a work in progress, and I'm just figuring out how I will use it. But that's the layout. You have your whole week here, your week at a glance. You have Monday, then you have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I do like how the weekends are grouped together. I like how your days are always on the same side of the page. I like how the moon phases are up there, even though I don't really do anything with it. I don't know why. I do like it. I would love the day of the week to be written bigger. Like I have to go in and write mine. You do have the months on here as just so you can flip through it and see them, rotating between brown and gray right there. When a month ends, you just go straight into the new month here because all your monthly layouts are up front. At the end of this planner, you have a couple of notes pages, and that is it. They have the same grid on them. You have like 2, 4 notes pages. Oh, and your nameplate pages at the end. I had never even noticed that. So there's not a whole bunch of extras. There's not as many extras as in the Hobonichi planner, which I don't mind at all. I love it. Keeps the cost down. Exactly just what you need if you're going for a little bit more streamlined. I also think it could work really well as a journaling planner. If you don't mind writing not all the way across, just in a column, journaling or gratitudes for the day, it could work for my 333 for the day. I think you could fit it. When you wake up, writing 3 gratitudes in full sentences, something from the last 24 hours. I do this in my planner perfect. And then 3 affirmations for the day and 3 things that would make today great. It could be like that, or it could just be reflective journaling at the end of the night, memory keeping journaling. So if you don't want to have a whole page to journal on every day, but you do want a dated journal to give you some motivation to fill it in every day, then this might also work for that. Like I said, I know it's sold out on Take a Note. I don't know if it's available on any of those other sites that sell it. I really bet it's not. This is your warning, and I'll try to remind you guys of when it's going to come out in September. So hopefully this will help you. You know, if you want to put this in your lineup for a journal or a planner for 2024, then you already have it on your mind. I hope that this was helpful. I'm going to definitely keep you guys updated as to if I'm staying in here for, how long for my daily list. It's just something fun and different to use since I have been using a blank notebook for my daily list for so long. It's very thin. Obviously, a Hobonichi Cousin is a lot thicker. This one is filled up though with a lot of things taped in it. From when I used it, I did all kinds of things in it. I did planning. I was trying it out for planning. For a long time, I tried all different ways. When it comes down to me, I love this book. It's like magic. You can fit like everything in it, your dailies, your weeklies. It has your months. I think it's so great for those who like to journal and decorate, to tape things in or use beautiful big washi tape like from London Gifties or the Washi Tape Shop. I have a constant 10% off code for the Washi Tape Shop. You can use it over and over again. They have amazing washi tape at great prices. It's Amanda10. I will put that down below. Also, because that washi tape just lends itself to these type of planners. When it comes down to it, I just cannot constantly use this for anything. I've tried, and I just don't love the paper really enough to stay in it because you have to take some care with gel pens, and there is so much show through. So I think if you're a messy planner, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe someday I'll come back to the Cousin. I never say never. And I even tried the Techo, which is like the 6-month, Cousin. If you're interested in these, I have the whole Hobonichi playlist. But you can see how I have a pretty heavy hand. And this was using the Hobonichi 3-color pen that they give you with your order, which I love the way it writes on their paper, but it makes the paper very crinkly and those marks that you can feel. That is Hobonichi. Kind of a little bit compared to take a note. I would love to hear all your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've tried the Take a Note planner. Leave it all in the comments. We can chat. Take care of yourselves so you can take care of others. Have a good week, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.